Welcome to another episode of the Clubhouse with Big Kriegs and Tommy Zachary, Kriegs, Keef, whatever you want to whichever you prefer to call us. Today is Friday, January 17th, 2025. We're going to hop right into it today. Hope you all had a great week. We're going to start with the divisional round in the NFL. We've got, on Saturday, we got the Houston Texans at the Kansas City Chiefs, 4:30 p.m. And then we got the Washington Commanders versus the Detroit Lions at 8 p.m. We'll start with that first game. Who you got?
I know we both had the Chargers over Texans, so we both took that wrong. But I know the Texans played a really good game that kind of shocked everybody. I think Houston's not going to be able to handle Kansas City. I mean, the only thing that you worry about Kansas City is they've had 20 something days off, realistically, since their starters have played, or most of their starters. So it's just a rest versus rust thing. Um, but I think Andy Reid's not going to have a problem getting those guys ready to play. I know I say that all the time with everybody, but I think uh, I think Kansas City's going to take that game. What about you?
Um, I want my brain tells me the Chiefs, but my heart, because I don't want the Chiefs to win again, wants I want to take you. I'm going to take Houston. Um, I hope the Chiefs playing mediocre football catches up to them this week. Um, Even though I think it'll be Kansas City and Buffalo, I'm taking Kansas City. I don't see them losing at home to Houston. And no matter
Yeah,
how much I tell myself, I can't convince myself.
it's
Um,
just hard to bet against Patrick Mahomes in the
at
playoffs.
home, yeah, with
Yeah, especially
the
at home.
refs on them side, refs on the side.
Yeah,
Um, I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be like probably like not close-ish, probably a 31-17, or it'll be low scoring. It'll be like 17-20 or 21-17, something.
yeah.
Hop into the nightcap. We got the Commanders traveling to Detroit, 8 p.m. Um, Not many people had the Commanders winning that game. We both picked the Commanders, didn't we?
No,
You did it.
I picked the Bucks.
So
No, I, I think we both picked the Bucks.
do we both pick the Bucks? I'll have
Yeah,
to look. But I don't see a world in which Detroit loses this game. I think it'll be a good game, but I don't, like I said, I don't see a world in which um, they lose it. They
yeah.
lose.
The only thing that really, I mean, obviously Detroit's a better team. The only thing that really concerns me is uh, Detroit, or not Detroit. Bobby Wagner hasn't practiced yet the last two
Yeah, that is
days,
a little concerning.
so um, he'll get a game this weekend, or he'll get a practice in tomorrow and stuff. But you know, obviously, I think we're both going to take Detroit there. Like you
Yeah.
said, there's kind of no way they. I mean, there's a way they lose, but
Their offense is too good. Montgomery's
yep,
coming back.
yep. We'll see how healthy he is.
Washington's defense isn't going to be able to handle both of
Especially
them.
if Bobby Wagner's banged up a little bit.
So, um, I went one, three. I went four. No, 3-3. No, one, two. How many games were there? One, two, three, four, five, six.
Six.
One. I went 4-2,
Yeah,
and you
we
went
both
four and
did.
two as well.
Yeah.
We'll keep track of that throughout the
Chargers.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Both got the Chargers wrong. Obviously, I got Denver wrong, and he got Commanders and Bucks wrong. Like I said, that I think that'll be a really good game. I think Detroit just is. I don't think Washington has what it takes to stop them.
Yeah. We'll pop over into Sunday. Um, First game is at 3 p.m. Kind of a weird slate for a Sunday. Uh, Rams going to Philly. Um, I mean, the Rams look great against the Vikings.
I got the Rams.
I that's what a lot of people are saying. I'm gonna take the Phillies. I think it's gonna be hard for them
The
to go into the
Phillies.
bank or the Eagles. Sorry, I think it's gonna be hard for them to go into into Philadelphia and win, and I think that home field is really going to play a factor. Uh, I think you know, I think it's, I think it really is going to play a big factor,
Yeah,
especially with it being in Philly. You know, the Philly fans are Philly fans. So, you said you got the Rams
I got the Rams. I think we're gonna get Detroit and LA
in
like
the conference?
cinema. We couldn't write it
Yeah,
better. We get Matthew
yeah.
Stafford versus old team. The Detroit Lions trying to go to their first Super Bowl, and have they ever been to the Super Bowl?
Lions, no.
Yeah. So they're go to their first ever Super Bowl. They got to beat the quarterback that held the city and the team on their back for 10 years.
Yeah,
Cinema.
yeah,
Um, I think the Rams win. Philly has looked good, but they're starting to get injury plagued on defense. I know
yeah,
we should say that about Detroit too, but Philly's offense isn't what Detroit's is, in my opinion.
yeah. I
And
agree.
I think the Rams, when that offense is clicking, it's stupid. How
Yeah,
do you how do you stop it?
yeah. I absolutely agree. We'll pop over into the later game on Sunday. Baltimore going over to Buffalo. I think kind of the most intriguing matchup of the weekend.
MVP
Everyone kind of wants to
candidates.
see, yeah, the MVP game. I think Josh Allen is going to take care of business. I think Buffalo is going to take this one, and we're going to get a Mahomes versus Allen for another matchup in the AFC Championship game.
I agree with you. Um, I think it's going to come down to obviously it comes down to who scores the most points.
Hmm.
If it's a high scoring game, I think Baltimore. That's the only way Baltimore has a chance to win. But if it's a low scoring game and these teams only combine for like 34, 35 points, I think Buffalo's got the advantage because their defense is better and they both don't have huge number one option. I mean, Baltimore has Derrick Henry, but receiving wise, neither team has. I would say neither team has the edge. They're
Right.
both above average
Especially
receivers.
with Zay Flower being banged up and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
and who knows if he'll
um,
even play.
right. I think kind of the opposite. I think the Bills win this game in a shootout or
Yeah,
like in a high scoring game. I think if it's going to be a low scoring game, I think the Ravens will come out on top because I do think the Ravens, as weird as it is, I do think the Ravens defense has a better shot at stopping Josh Allen in the Bills offense rather than the Bills defense stopping Lamar.
right.
So that's just my 2 cents. But who am I? We'll kind of shift into some college basketball. You know, we said we're going to be talking a little bit of Michigan hoops and Michigan State hoops, and boy, was that Michigan game something. It just ended probably 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Michigan hit a three to go up two at the end of regulation. Minnesota tied it on a foul, and then went to overtime. Then Michigan tied it up down the stretch. Looks like it was going to go into double overtime, and Minnesota chucks one up from half court, and they won.
heaved it.
Half court buzzer beater, yeah. And it was whatever. I don't even really want to talk about it. Those are tough to lose. There was plenty. They played like shit in
A team
overtime.
that doesn't have a Big Ten win is that your first
Yep. But hey, I mean,
winless
they went to, yeah, whatever. I mean, uh, we'll shift into Michigan State. Let you talk about that
State
one.
1-1, a close one over Penn State last night. Um, didn't end up getting to watch any of it. But look at the box score, watching the highlights. State looked good. Penn State's coach even said that it's very hard to scheme against Michigan State because of how deep they are, and said that it might be one of the deepest teams he's ever seen, which is beautiful to hear. The real test is Sunday. Illinois comes to East Lansing, noon, tip off. Number 19 versus number 12. Huge game. Um,
Yeah, Big Ten basketball's great.
Especially this time of the year too. Football playoffs. This is when Big Ten basketball is like perfect.
Yep.
Um,
Kind of talking still about college. We'll shift into the just because our episode will probably be filming around halftime, I'd assume, in the national championship, depending on how late it goes. But Monday, we got the national championship game, OSU versus Notre Dame, at 7:30. I don't know what the line is still, but I know Ohio State is definitely still favored. Uh, but who do you got?
Notre Dame.
I am with you as well. Go Irish. Um,
I think Notre Dame wins a close one.
I think Ryan Day. The only way that I see Ryan Day and the Buckeyes losing this game is if it comes down to. So the line's still at 8.5.
Right.
I think if Ryan Day tries to play cute like how he did against Michigan and beat them at their for a toughness and not just be like, hey, we have the better football team. I think
Right.
that's one of the. I think Ryan Day is going to do that, especially with all the shit talking that's been happening back and forth with him and fucking Lou Holtz. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think Notre Dame wins a close one. Because Ohio State's offense did not look good against Texas, and I think Notre Dame has hands on a way better defense than Texas does. If Notre Dame contains Ohio State's offense, I think they don't have a problem winning.
yeah.
Should be a good game. My mom is a Notre Dame fan, so that is partially why I'm rooting for them. And I hate Ohio State too, so uh,
Yep.
uh,
Fuck the Buckeyes.
I'll talk some baseball. Kyle Tucker and the Cubs settled at 16.5 million to avoid arbitration for this year, which is a good sign in terms of possible extension. Hopefully it happens. Um, they met in the middle. Well, no, they met closer to Tucker. Tucker wanted 17. Cubs only wanted to give him 15, which this is a good sign that we were closer to his number than the Cubs number. I hope they lock him up for a while.
Yeah, I do
Let him be a
too.
Cub for a long time.
Jed came out and said, they were hoping to get an extension done. They've been trying to since he's been officially a Cub. But one of the big things that Kyle Tucker hasn't experienced, and it's probably the biggest thing, is being a Cub. They got the fan convention next week, so he'll be
No,
there.
it's tonight.
Or
It starts
yeah,
tonight.
oh yeah, you're right. He'll be there tonight. But they, it's they he basically said, he just hasn't had that experience of being at Wrigley, being in the outfield, being a
He has
Cub, and
been
that
at
plays
Wrigley, but he
baseball.
hasn't had it being a
Right.
Cub.
Yeah. And so I think that's really gonna steer his mind. And like we said, I hope something happens where we can lock him up for a while.
And then Roki Sasaki is down to his final three. The Cubs obviously were ruled out. Dodgers, Padres, Blue Jays, final three teams.
Yeah, he's a Dodger. I mean, we
I,
can we can all say yes, he's a Dodger.
I
I've been
think he's
saying it
probably a
since.
Dodger. I really want him to be a Padre. Anybody but the Dodgers, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, since we found out he was going to be posted, I was saying he's just going to go to the Dodgers. That's just what he was going to do. I mean, he seems like a winner, but then also at the same time he wanted to make his own name for himself, and now he's going to be fighting for a 5 spot in a rotation. So good luck to him if he goes to the Dodgers.
Couple things about the Blue Jays. One, they're always one of the top three or top four
Yeah,
teams for big
because
free
they
agents or trades. Two, they have been talking to Vlad about a long term extension, and they have zero interest in trading him, which they shouldn't. He's
right.
a generational talent. Had the best year of his career last year. Hit for less power, still hit 30 home runs, hit 330 or 320. I'd love to have him in Chicago, but that's not going to happen. Um,
Yeah, they made
but
that pretty clear.
shift to first base, too. Mets re signed Jesse Winker today.
Yep.
Said they're shifting their focus from Pete Alonso to death pieces that they need. They threw like 3 years, 68 million or 72 million at Alonso either today or yesterday. He turned them down, said no way. So they're all but out on Alonso.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where he goes, especially this late. I mean, Cubs are in the front runners for Bregman apparently to sign a
Not
like a three
now.
year.
It
Oh,
was
really? It's
it
flipped.
was yesterday. It's flipped now. He's coming from Borson himself. He does not want to sign a short term deal,
Mm.
and the Cubs are not going to give him more than a 3 4 year deal with opt outs.
Nope.
So
So
kind of that's off the
that's off the
agenda.
table.
Um, here's a it could happen. Here's my scenario: Pete Alonso. Pittsburgh Pirates need a big bat in their lineup.
Okay.
You got that great young pitching, and their lineup is atrocious. And Cabrian Hayes requested a trade today.
Oh,
Their platinum glove third baseman. That surprised me.
yeah, me too. That's interesting.
But
Yeah,
where do you think it goes?
The Diamondbacks didn't re-sign Christian Walker, right?
But they traded for Josh Naylor.
Oh yeah, that's right, they did.
And the Astros signed Christian Walker. So those are teams that I expect them to go to. Maybe
Seattle?
Seattle's an option. I think Boston's an option.
Yeah, I could see him going to Boston.
New York's
what are the yeah? I was about to say, what are
Yankees
the
are an
Yankees
option.
doing at first base?
Cody's going to be playing there some. I think logically,
Imagine he goes to the Mets or goes to the Yankees and
Yeah.
just fucking takes 40 home runs first year.
I think it's probably Yankees, Mariners, Red Sox. I think those would probably be top three, and then win the sleeper team, the Pirates.
Yeah.
And they're in
Yeah.
our division, but that'd be cool to see them actually go and try to make improvements to their team because they build guys up and trade them normally. Like Brian Reynolds, if that was their first extension they've signed with guys that they've brought up to their system. I know he got traded from San Fran in the McCutcheon deal, but he started out super young with them, and they brought him up and actually signed him to a long-term deal.
Yeah, which is
And-
surprising. Like
and
you
you
said,
got all
Garrett
this-
Cole,
You got all this pitching.
yeah.
You have all this pitching. You got Paul Skeens, who seems to be a generational talent. Mitch Keller, who's above average. He's not an ace, but he's a good number two on most staffs.
Yeah.
And you got Jared Jones, who's another really good second year player.
Yeah.
Like
I agree. It'd be cool to see them make that, but they probably won't.
probably
Because
not.
they're Pittsburgh.
I saw the hypothetical.
Who does Cleveland have at first? Josh Bell, right?
No.
Where did Josh Bell go?
Did he sign back with them? No, he signed with. Did he sign with them or did he sign with the Nationals?
He
I think
signed back with the Nationals. I think you're right.
Yeah, he signed back with the Nationals for like
Yeah,
1 year
I
deal.
I could see him, but maybe Cleveland.
I don't know. We'll see.
Maybe if Detroit loses out on Bregman.
I also he's not a bad spot. I also saw something that says the longer it goes, it's more likely that Bregman's going to turn into a Montgomery or Snell situation with Boris and Bregman. Signing super late. Spring training starts. Cubs report to spring training in 2, 3, 10, 24 days. 23 days from when this goes live.
That's
Super
crazy.
Bowl Sunday, the Cubs are in spring training for the first time. Pitchers and catchers are.
Yeah, baseball's right on the corner, and boy, am I fucking excited.
Can't wait. All right, with
Anything
that
else?
no. With that being said, though, we're wrap up. Appreciate all love and support so far. Page hit 100 views in 4 videos. It's pretty good. In our standards, good in our eyes. 25 plus views of video. Appreciate love and support. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, comment anything. Go Cubs. Cubs suck. Bears suck. Broncos suck.
Okay, that's
Whatever. I included my team too. Bulls suck. You throw that in there too.
All right. Blackhawks are the worst team in the internet. Telling the side of it close. Love to say it. All right. Peace out, guys.
Have a good one. Have a good weekend. Peace.